the next 6 weeks, the rest of the season, and this offseason is really going to determine, what they do going forward. The problem is that, Sandy Alderson just told us that the money that they saved with this, he didn't want to call it a salary dump, but it is a salary dump, that the money is not necessarily going to be invested, in the team in the offseason. And, the other thing he said was, they went for it this year. And I don't see that. If you're counting the $24 million that they invested in Lucas Duda and Neil Walker, that was money not well spent. And now it's as if, ownership and this general manager, let's face it, he as long as he's taking money to do his job, Sandy Alderson has to be lumped in with the Wilpons when it comes to their commitment to this team. And at the end of the day, this organization is not as committed to winning as they purport themselves to be. And unless you see a dramatic return to form for Yoenis Cespedes and some of these other players, including the pitchers, and there's some support for the bullpen, and there's upgrades at catcher, upgrades at second base, upgrades in the outfield, getting another outfielder to play with Cespedes and Conforto, this team is not going to be able to contend with the Nationals and the other good teams in the National League. And if that's not the case, what are we doing here? If you're going to start from scratch again, then you might as well start by looking into deals for Cespedes or looking into deals for, guys that are going to be a little bit more reliable, going forward. I am tired of being a Met fan. I've been a Met fan since 1975, okay? And every time this window of opportunity opens up for this team since 1986, it closes very shortly. And I'm tired of it. I'm tired of, whether it's ownership, whether it's the general manager, whether it's the manager, whether it's the players. Something has to be done to make this team more consistent. And stop talking to me about how last year was such a great year. They were lucky last year to get to the play-in game. They were lucky. The only reason they were able to get to that is because the Giants fell apart, because other teams fell apart in the second half of the season, because the Mets did not play that great in September last year, and certainly, were shut out in the wild card game. So I'm tired of hearing about, 2015 was a great year. I'm tired of hearing about last year was a great year. Last year was not a great year. It was wonderful that they were able to play in a play-in game, but at the end of the day, that is not what we're looking for, nor should it be what we're shooting for. This is New York. There's the number one media market, in the country, and we have a team that's talking about that might be, when you think about all the money that's coming off the books, definitely a team that needs help and needs to make a decision about David Wright, needs to make a decision about these players that are on this roster that are not producing and not performing. And until, I see this kind of commitment, it's going to be very hard for me to invest in this team, emotionally and financially. And if you agree, I'd love to hear from you. Have a good day, everybody. Talk to you soon.